Hello, and welcome to In the Den, a new podcast we're going to be bringing to the channel focused on interviewing indie VTubers and anybody within content creation. For this first episode, you're going to see me talking to Cooper, a good friend of mine who you see frequently in the streams if you ever hang around on Twitch. And we mostly just talk about how both of us got into the sphere of content creation and what it's like now in the VTubing scene. Most episodes probably won't be quite this long, and they'll usually be a little bit more focused on the interview format, but because Cooper is such a constant around our channel, we decided to just have a little bit more of the proper chat. So either way, hope you enjoy. If you have any guest suggestions, be sure to drop them down below, and if you want to see more of it, you can always check me out on Twitch on twitch.tv/wtreach2. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the first episode and you look forward to more. Hello and welcome to the return of Smash Chat in the form of a new series, not Port Priority, but In the Den with and whoever we will have featured. Beginning this time, we have the Coopsworth VT,
Hello.
as he loves to be called,
I don't. I hate that. Why? Why did you do this
who
already?
admittedly is the main reason you see this lovely character here before you. I am W2Reach, variety streamer and general fighting game gamer. I do a lot of different things, but this used to be my main gig in the form of podcasting and interviews as I broke down with a lot of your favorite creators, from the Games Cage to Justin Wharton, all the way up to Toast, from all kinds of different players, peoples, creators, and anything I could think of. This time we will be focusing a little bit more on the indie VTuber side, but we'll certainly feature as many different guests as I can think of. And without further ado, we will go ahead and kick it off with our lovely cone here. How is it today, Cooper?
Oh, it's going great, man. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on here.
Nerd. Anyway,
The
yeah.
fuck did you say? No.
Well, I think it's a good chance because normally with most guests, it'd be like, "Oh my gosh, how did you start content creation?" and shit like that. Uh,
Mhm.
we know.
I've told this story so many times, and I've told you're actually a very big part of the story at this point. So that's kind of fun that I'm the first person you're starting this with now again.
Yeah, we've done we like when we revisited all your old videos for the one stream. We've definitely been through your origins a lot through
Yeah,
a lot more than most.
quite the whole 12 years of it. Oh, quite a bit.
I think the bigger thing to talk about that we haven't discussed a lot is I think it's interesting because you specifically got me into VTubing as a whole. I actually don't
Yeah.
know that we've talked as much about how you got into it yourself specifically.
Oh fuck. So I didn't really know that VTubers like existed. I thought it was I just knew like I knew Iron Mouse existed for a while, I guess. But besides that, my buddy Butterfay, who is awesome and cool as shit, they were my work friend at when I worked my job during the pandemic year, that fun time. And I was streaming, I just started and he was streaming too, and he was so much bigger than me at the time, even though it was only like 500, like 50 or whatever. And I was like, yo, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm gonna be a VTuber. I was like, what the hell is that? And then he showed me his model, and his model art is the same model art I have for Farnsworth here, who's done all their stuff. So it was kind of just him who was like, oh yeah, you should check this out. Or you should, like, he was really just like, look, like, here's my model. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then all I never really wanted to be a VTuber. I just kind of liked Farnsworth a lot as a character because he's been my OC for like 4 years. And I just wanted the model to like play around, like to have him as a model and like move him around and like, make him look funny and shit and get better pictures. So I had to draw because I suck at
So
art.
basically
So
me with Jin.
yeah, I got it as like an asset. I didn't get it as a VTuber, like to be a VTuber, and now we're here. I'm just like, I think of myself as just a content creator. I don't really think of the VTuber as much.
Yeah, I think we're definitely the same in that regard. It is interesting because in my opinion, I do think it's better almost because we don't put ourselves into the VTubing box per se.
Yeah.
I am like at this point I do say I'm a VTuber, but I definitely don't count myself as one of the like VTubers. Only
It's
because
easier to
like
class
neither of us
yourself
go
as
by
one.
our models' names. I do not
Exactly.
go by Jin and you do not go by Farns.
Half of my name is Farns, but that's besides the point. Fuck all that.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, it's hard to box yourself in, or especially for us because we show our face a lot more. We're very
yeah.
not like VTuber if because there's a very like
RTX
certain
on.
yeah. There- there's a very like general vibe to most VTubers, and me and you very much don't fit into that at all. I think that's why we work so
No.
well together, or we were very we worked very well like a meeting, and we're just like that's why we ran so fast, and we used to could do stuff so easily.
It's definitely a lot easier, I think, for me, especially getting into the sphere, to have somebody else that wasn't, all I really knew about VTubers getting in was clips I watched of Hololive. Funnily
Yeah.
enough, I'm a big I really liked Kurone, I really liked Okayu, like the whole gamers crew on that front, and then Niji was just starting to be a thing. So that was all I really knew about what VTubing was, and then the occasional I interacted every now and then with somebody on Twitter. So to then go from that and then try and get involved with the sphere, and all I was using was my $5 PFP
The
com, I
little
turned into a
PNG.
PNG.
Yep.
That was really interesting, especially because of how much at that point when I met you. Like I know you hadn't been doing VTubing for crazy long, all things considered, but you
Few
definitely had, I
months,
mean, a
yeah.
lot behind you. I mean, in terms of sheer
Yeah.
assets. Like
Even
how much in total do you think you've spent is what I really want to know.
oh fuck. Do you want me to ballpark that? Oh my god.
Give me a
Oh.
guesstimate.
So okay, all right. For the VTubing side, like just the model or like all the art I've gotten foreign. So I didn't get the art
Anything,
of
we're gonna
foreign
count
back in
anything
the day.
VTubing brand related. Anything that's in service of
Uh,
the brand.
okay, for purely VTubing. So
So this counts
let's
art,
think.
yes.
Oh, okay. Oh fuck. I'm just gonna do the art that I use like for like so my schedule, my
The fact that
all
you have
that
to
stuff.
debate this so much is scaring me.
Because it would be I couldn't even give you a number on the how many plus pictures I have of just like art of foreign's dude. He's been my model for 4 years. I can't draw, so like of course I've gotten commission of art for so much. It sucks. It sucks having good art friends because you want their art so much. But fuck. The model itself was probably I want to say around 350 to 400, maybe. I don't remember. That's total. That's after the first. Like that, both the 2.0 and the 1.0 though. So that's
And what
both
about
revisions of
featuring
it.
like the art, any stream assets, stuff like that though, in
Stream
addition?
assets. So I think like stream assets, most of them I recycle a ton, which is really good because it saves me a ton of money. But I would say like the basic stream assets you see on like any given Cooper stream, it's probably about I don't know like 100, 120-ish.
Is
It's
that
not too
including
much. I know.
emotes?
Oh
That's
fuck.
what I'm saying. You really just total it all, gosh darn it.
I don't. I really reach. I really couldn't give you an idea. It probably fuck. I
So
don't
we're
want to even
talking
make
like
myself
400, 450 for the total model, 100,
for the
120
mod
for just the
count it
assets. What about for like the emotes?
for the emotes. A lot of them are like Lapis. Shout out Lapis. They've done a ton of them, but I guess I don't. Can I look? Can you cut this out? Can I look at my emotes real quick to see? Like, let me take a look. Hold on. I'm curious
I'm
now because
not
I don't
cutting it
remember.
out, you know that, right?
Oh, whatever. That's fine. Just keep talking. Then I'm looking at my emotes real quick. Oh my god. Okay.
You were really bad at
Um,
just guessing.
dude, because it's Reach. I don't think you understand.
I think I do, and that's why I asked
I
this
don't think you
question
do.
recorded for the people.
It would have to be. Oh my god, there's so many emotes. Okay, let's ballpark it. This is probably a low ball too, man. Overall, model, assets, emotes, and we'll call it just the art that I've gotten from like last February when I started to now. Probably like 2K. probably a lot of money. I don't want to. I don't know if that's right. Now I got to go look back and look and see if that's it because I feel like it might be more. I just don't want to admit that to myself because I don't think about it. I just kind of get a check from my part-time job. I'm like, oh my god, artist, and
Well, and I
that's it.
mean, I think that's okay because it's all in service of something you enjoy doing. So
That's
I'm not
well, yeah, oh,
shaming
of course.
you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of it as like a lot of that's just art. I want to say, but I feel like I've gotten so much art for such good deals that I just kept getting art that was good. I was like, I would see a deal, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude. That's a bad thing. Don't be me. Don't be Coopsworth. That's horrible. I'm the worst person to follow.
Well, and then that's part of why I wanted to ask it because I do think it's interesting. Is in comparison, I mean, my budget has been so much lower. Like I could
It's
tell
been
you
getting
off
there
the top of
though.
my head, I have not spent over $200,
Oh yeah. Well,
and
so I
80 of
know
that or 90 of it was the model.
it was the
Before
model. It was, oh, sorry. What were you saying? I
I
don't
was
want to
gonna
interrupt
say
you.
I got to that 350 or like 400 follower mark that we met at. I got to with a
Yeah,
$5 PNG I edited myself with permission.
that's all it is,
That
man. I
was
mean,
it. That was all it took, and I was hitting payout every couple months. Like
I
it's
would.
really not as expensive as people think to get into as long as you're careful. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same. It kind of brings up the argument, which we can discuss later, of the PNG tubers and VTubers thing, which is
Mhm.
dumb that there's
Well,
even a difference because everybody counts.
that's stupid. Exactly. That I was actually helping my friend Grim, who's a mod for me. They were when they were getting into streaming for a little bit. They got a $30 pack of streams like scenes for OBS. They're all animated, super pretty. I think it was like a $10 to $15 PNG, and they had all their stuff set up on stream, and it looked so professional for like a
Oh.
30 follower, whatever they were at the time, 50 something like that account. So you can do it for super cheap. It's just again like I got my model not for the reason of VTubing, just for the reason to have a model of the character I had, just to make him do stupid shit and say stupid stuff. Like I was never doing this for I was never doing this to be like, oh my god, I'll be a VTuber. It just kind of happened that way. But I enjoyed like I was getting the stuff for a reason. It wasn't like I was just, oh my god, I need to put so much money into VTubing. This is
Yeah.
the only way to do this stuff. Like I started like when I got my original for first few years was or my first few years, my first few months, it was just the base model I had. So just the this little guy without the goggles on and a few toggles, and that was kind of it. And then I overlay my friend made for me and emotes that I had from when I streamed like for the last 4 years, and a few like fan arts I got or friend arts I got of from people like around the time. So like it was I started fairly cheap for the compared to some people. I know a few people who have started like streaming with like 2K models and stuff. So there's definitely
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
and it does make a difference, which sucks, but it kind of comes down to the creator at some point too. Like
Hmm.
if you're really good at what you do and you have a PNG, it doesn't matter how bad that PNG. Well, as long as it's lookable and it's not
Yeah.
bad. Like there's obviously like not great ones out there, but as long as it's something that's like good, even if it's just your own like flair to it, it could be like not the best art or whatever. I mean, my first
Yeah.
PNG was Farnsworth. I drew it myself, and people like that. So you don't have to be an artist to do it. Just fucking start making content and just do it to the best you can.
Well, that's the one thing I always encourage people on, and I know we have the same opinion that it's like streaming should always be limited by your enjoyment. It's like if you're not enjoying it, you really probably shouldn't be doing it. And if
There's no
you are
reason.
having fun, then that should be motivation enough a lot of the time,
Mm,
short of
yeah,
putting yourself into the red. It's like as long as because realistically, you can stream on nothing. I have been for such a long time with no budget, and no money, and I've only
yeah,
ever reinvested. The only investments that have ever been made into stream have been self-funded. Some of them took a
yeah.
really long time to get to, but they did eventually end up being self-funded. And
Mm,
now, I mean, I have a lot to work with, and even now, I still have like a majority of my emotes are just stuff made by me. It's like they're
you've
not
been making a lot
necessarily
more of them
good, but
too.
they work. They get the job done.
They're pretty good.
Okay, the
Emotes are
cross is
probably
good.
one.
The rest aren't.
They're all really good. I think emotes are one of the things people if you want to like I think it's hard to cut corners with some stuff, especially if you're not an artist like by nature. But emotes are one where there's so many bases out there. It's very easy to just kind of make your own emotes. Especially because you can bases are free on Ko-fi. Just go find a base that you like and just kind of do your own thing with it as
Well,
use it
there's
as a reference.
specifically, I might even put the link in the description somewhere of the artists that I use because they are fantastic and coming out with another
Yeah.
emote base pack very, very soon.
Exactly. So that's a really easy way to cut costs for VTubing is to do your own emotes. If you just have like use MS Paint, give them style to it. People will love that stuff. So you just have to have you kind of just have to want to do that. That's where I think a big thing is people just not really giving a shit. They just kind of turn it on and expect to be big dog right away. But you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing that happens in every facet of
Everything, of
creation at
course.
this point is
Oh
everybody
yeah,
wants a shortcut now, which is
yeah,
unfortunate. It's like, and some people work extremely hard, most of who we talk to. Like, I mean,
yeah.
even just to mention a name or two, like with Cell and Ken, for example, they put in
Yeah,
a
Ken worked incredibly
they
hard.
have seen, Cell specifically has seen a ton of success, and he worked really hard for it before he ever even did his first stream. Like,
Hmm.
he put a lot of time and effort in.
I've told him time. I told him the other day. I'm just fucking just like he was the textbook how to start that stuff up. Just be nice. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be fucking an asshole. Just be like a good person and do your thing and be
Yeah.
happy. Like, be dedicated to your craft of it, and you'll get people following you. It's easy. That's the easy part. Is just being a decent human being. Apparently,
Well, and then
but
to transition out of that a little bit too, because obviously for those who don't know, and at the time this is recorded, you are going on your break officially this coming week, where you will be gone.
tomorrow.
Yeah, with school and all that. I mean, do you think we have obviously a lot of that recorded stuff coming out. Look at April 1st,
Oh
Persona
yes, we
series
do.
debuts. Uh,
I believe the Persona series is going to be this. I think it's on the Saturday, the 6th. The 6th
oh,
and
is it the
7th will
6th?
be
I thought the
Persona.
1st was the week. Oh yeah, you're right. No, I'm mixed up.
Because
You're right. You're
it's
right. You're right.
Persona Fridays, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, do you foresee just? I know you're hoping to just transition back to normal at some point down the line. Do you think
Mm.
you want to do it with the same, just come back to your regular content? Do you have any upcoming plans for changes to make when you do get back, or haven't thought
I
that
have a
far?
I have a few ideas. I was actually thinking of I've been looking into some 3.0 models that might shake things up a little bit. So I might look into that. And obviously, you don't need to do that again for
As
the
your
money thing,
financial
but
manager. I didn't
they're
sanction
good
this.
good they're good deals. I'll show you later. But
All right.
there's some really cool stuff out there. There's some I guess the content I want to make, especially getting back after assuming everything goes well with school, with flying and all.
It will.
I would hope to do more. Thank you. I would be hoping to do more flight sim or like kind of teaching stuff because I think something that needs to be something you really need now of everything, especially because like people talk about like, oh, the VTuber bubble has popped. It has. It's been for years, right? I think something that's super important is a gimmick or just something that puts you very separate from other people. So I know there's Shindigs. I don't know if you see him on Twitter, but he
Yeah,
always
with all
promotes
the
people who
effects and
do
things
cool
like
stuff.
that.
Yep, yeah. So like there was the history teacher person people loved like just to learn about history. There was the dude who has his whole little setup that's like he's a cartoon character like himself, and like everything he has is like in a game engine. It looks really cool and super animated. Shit like that is so important to draw. Like they really grow. Anyone can just play games, and that's cool. But unless you are super talented at them, or you are like very, very comically funny, or just you have something about you that's really
Just
special,
like me for real, for
uh, you're real.
real.
There is a limit to what you can get to. But if you have ideas like all of my streams that have done good, my best streams have always been the Coney Awards or like the subathons doing something special, shit like that. That's like no one else is really doing it or having it, and then putting some thought and production behind it. I love the Conies, and that's probably my favorite streams I've done, and if not one of the better ones I've done, like numbers wise, right? That was just a fun time, just showing off my friends and just having a good time with it, making fun, like having curtains and having a little theater to watch their clips on. And everyone, people loved it. So it's shit like that that really separates people from just playing games and chatting, which is still really good because obviously that's a big part of it. You have to do that to get to the other stuff, right? But when you get to the other stuff, you just have to keep innovating and just keep making new stuff. So I'm hoping to do more like pilot related things. That'd be fun. Maybe like doing like a stream a week where I teach people shit. I hope we're just getting back to a good schedule and maybe doing some more big events through the year. I also have a VTuber Olympics idea, so watch out. I might be working on that one. I might be cooking with that. We'll see.
Well, and to play the devil's advocate a little bit, it is interesting you mentioned all the big events, because that is something I almost wanted to mention in regards to statistics, like when talking about Cell, like one of his biggest streams was still his debut stream. But like
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something to be said there, and perhaps like an argument to be made, or maybe a little chat that we tend to not talk about, of
Oh,
like
let's hear
I
it.
do think there is a big point of that where a lot of it is the engagement that comes with
Mm-hmm.
those events. Because I hate to say it, but people really do like, seeing themselves involved with other stuff, or
Oh, of
like,
course.
it's like
It's a great
that's,
way to promote.
I do think,
It's
and
just
I'm
like
not
an
saying
excellent
that as a
approach.
negative, because obviously, like,
Oh,
even
I know,
Subathon
yeah.
is super viewer engaged in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, you guys get to directly see the impact and effects of whatever you give or get. It's like, and
Exactly.
I do wonder how long the landscape will be shaped that way with things changing, especially because I don't know if you've been paying attention to how much to the general Twitch stats, but it's like those don't quite dominate like they used to, almost because that's kind of reverted to being like the YouTube trend, bigger more than anything, where those
Yeah.
kinds of big events pick up a lot of traction there, but consistency is being like more highly rewarded here again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do
It's
wonder, it makes me question what we'll be seeing within even like the next 2 to 3 months for the landscape of Twitch content.
it'll be completely different than what it is right now. Regardless of what it is, like it's always it's a very evolving and changing. We just saw I think yesterday or 2 days ago, we saw them. They took like everyone's doing the green screen body parts, and they put a rule down like stop that shit. So even
Thank
shit like that, where
God.
it's that was a very engaging thing. Especially with people who did it funnily. Like I was going to do a stream where I did it on my cone or something, just to have fun with it. Even stuff like that is very. It's just how it evolves and changes. So even with stuff, and someone actually commented today because I'm doing my 12-hour farewell stream tomorrow, right? And the first part of the stream is going to be me doing a little tier list, just who can you beat up little Farnsworth, right? And someone mentioned like this is a really good way to promote your thing and stream. That's the point. Whether you know it or not, and I would assume most people know it. As content creators, you have to pay attention to a lot of stuff. And I'm not gonna just lie to you and be like, oh, I didn't even know, so I'll do something. Knowing that that stream is gonna be my last stream for a while, I wanted to get more people in there, and obviously I'm trying to push for 1,000 right now. I'm at halfway there. I wanted to promote people to come in and see themselves. So that's why when you do those types of things, you want to make sure that people see themselves as it's a very, very big thing in our like content wise, especially when it's smaller on that scale. People just like to see themselves. That's just how it is. It's always been that way. Everyone's loved seeing themselves throughout fucking history. It'll never really change.
I mean, yes,
So
it's only
those are really
natural.
good things. Yeah, exactly. It's just human. It's a very those are very good things to help promote yourself. But it has been seeming like lately stuff like that has been going down, like you were saying. Like it's been not really as big of a deal as it usually is. Or that some people there's just so many people doing it to where it's getting buried under like the hashtag VTuber on
For
Twitter and
sure,
stuff like
for
that,
sure.
which is still that's a big problem too, but that's a whole nother issue really. But yeah, that stuff like that, Twitch is always gonna be changing. We see it all the time, and especially with Twitch, like we all know it doesn't really make money. That's a little terrifying that it might just stop one day. So like shit like that. We saw what was it called? The other V stream that just closed down. Like that was a ton of people who just streamed on that, and they don't have anywhere to stream now. So or they'll be migrating to Twitch or YouTube. So shit like that is constantly changing. That whatever it is 3 months from now won't be the same as it right now. If those stupid little tweets of tier lists still work in 3 months, maybe. But I would be shocked if they worked to the validity or like the extent they worked 3 months prior to right now.
Makes sense.
That would shock me. Yeah.
Well, to pivot to a less depressing topic, speaking of tier list, because and I to wrap that, I do agree. Like I think it'll be very different, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The only unfortunate thing
Exactly.
is obviously we can't anticipate that, but we can just rock with the flow. You brought it up briefly, and I was going to ask you about this anyway.
Okay.
When you mentioned the tier list about canonically beat, yeah boy. Can we get a little spoilers on the gin placement?
So I'm gonna go before I even start with all this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that well I gotta lay the ground rules of Farns's like abilities. So obviously he has some magic, right? He has magic. He has his stop sign. He can like fucking has some telekinesis ability. He's more rubbery than anything. He doesn't really have skin. He's a trap cone, like made human. So he's all rubber. So he doesn't really bleed like that, you know? So it's kind of hard to place with Jin. I think Jin would
Uh-huh.
kick his ass, but I don't think he would be as damaged as you would think. I don't think he would win
I
a
think you're
fight with Jin.
delusional.
I don't think he would win a fight with Jin. I think he would probably get a hit or two or something. Maybe he'd throw into a building with his little thing and she'd be pissed and kill him almost. But I don't think he would win. If that makes you happy.
I just thought it was funny because especially after you've heard all the lore explanations for
I
the
know.
canonical Jin, for biblically accurate Jin as the walking nuke,
Yeah. Well, I'm
as
not
she
saying
is
that.
in canon.
I'm not saying he would win. I'm saying he'd probably get a few good hits, but he'd probably lose. I would say.
I mean, I'm glad you
I'll be the
recognize
humble one.
that.
Yeah, I'm not delusional. I'm
Not
doing a
that it
whole
would
tier
ever
list now.
happen canonically, because nobody Barnes is a precious little boy and doesn't deserve to be burnt to cinders. But if we're talking
Oh
biblically
me.
accurate Jin, that boy be dust. If we're talking, silly standard goofy Jin, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wolf destroys traffic cone. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how that goes. That brings up a bunch of fun conversations. My only fear for
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
is when you get a 30-minute lore lecture from a lot of people. But
I've
I
seen
love
those.
hearing about people's lore, so
Oh, of course. I think too. Real quick to double back on like the tier list thing, and knowing that it gets engagement, it's okay to get engagement and to have it be something fun. I
hmm.
think to have it just be like we've seen people do ratings tier lists, right? We've seen it a million times.
Hey,
At
that
this
was fun
point,
when I
like
did it. Don't you dare.
no, well, I'm saying like I didn't see a ton of people like do it when you did it, right? But now, like 3 months, 2 months later, 3 months later, almost, or a month and a half,
Has it even
whatever.
been that
I've
long?
seen another. I don't even remember, but it's been like a month, right? I've seen like 15 more. Like now we need to move on to something a little more fun. You know what I mean? Just make it a little more personable. So that's why I did the fight one, not just like I'm rating your character. I did that fucking 6 months ago, and I was like, I want to do something different, you know? Because I'm sure I'll rate their character. I'll talk about their character while I'm doing this. So you get to do both worlds and make it fun, a little more exciting to have people talk about their lore and get all excited about the characters fighting my little guy.
Yeah.
So gimmicks work. Just make it your own. Make it
I
something
would
different.
definitely have done that gimmick, but I think the problem is considering Jin is stolen from a fighting game concept, I would be much too defensive of the
I know you
you're
would.
gonna
You're
have to be
sarcastic.
God before I accept it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and to be fair, I do think it's fun discussion. Short of Twitter power scalers, which are a different thing entirely, I actually really enjoy like fight discussions and stuff like that. It's super
Hmm.
fun.
Exactly. We're all just one big VTube like fucking multiverse or whatever. Anyway.
Now I do need the Jin nah I'd win art though, because I definitely need it for every time somebody, if anybody in my Twitter replies is so like, this is actually why I'd win.
Nah, I'd win.
Nah,
I'm
I
better.
Jin.
I'm better. Nah, Jin. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean that's just another example of like facets of creation outside of the, and I think this has been a rule for a lot longer than people have realized, is how important content creation is outside of the actual content you're creating. It's like
Oh yeah.
even the only exception is as somebody who started streaming back when Twitch was still really, really new, like then there wasn't much to advertise outside of Twitch because a lot of people weren't coming from platforms like Twitter or YouTube to come check it out until it really took off. So like back then it was kind of a different sphere where you were isolated within, if you were a big deal within the Twitch community, everybody on Twitch knew you. That didn't mean you were
Yeah.
known by everybody else, but it means you also didn't have to market yourself a lot outside of the platform. It was almost like an instant ticket to at least Twitch success.
Oh
Now
yeah.
it's like if you're not metagaming on Twitter or YouTube or something, like you're gonna have a lot rougher of a time getting going here.
There's definitely people that can who have succeeded recently, like just not really giving a shit, just streaming. But
Yeah.
it's very, 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 very much very hard. It's not very
It's
easy.
one of the examples of like the
Um,
luck that comes with content creation.
oh,
Because
exactly. That's just how
you
it's
have
gonna
to
be.
get the traction for that and the algorithms in your favor, and obviously be really good at what you do. But specifically when you're limited to one scope like that, I mean, you definitely have the gods actually present you every now and
Yeah.
then.
If you're just streaming, if you want to grow, if you really, really want to make content and grow and be a streamer, and all you're doing is just hitting go live, just Twitch, you're not doing enough, which sucks, but it's just the truth. I think that's really hard for a lot of people to take in because, like, again, we went to it's like, oh, you want the easy route. That's just you can't. It's just not how it is anymore. Um, even back when I started in 2020, that was like the big boom of people getting on there because obviously we're all locked inside for a while. So that was like the last time I think you could just do that and like get
Hmm.
traction. Like my buddy Nathan, he did that and was able to just pick up very, very much traction in a very short amount of time. And I don't think I've seen someone just do that in forever because you never hear about it because it doesn't happen. Like you always see someone on Twitter or like see a debut go up or something like that, you never hear about someone who just was like, oh, I just streamed and now I have 1,000 million viewers or whatever.
1,000 million.
Technical
Yeah.
term.
No, I mean that's definitely just true. I mean, even for me, like there was a reason I was so distraught when I lost. I mean, as I've told the story off, well, off the record a lot. We actually talked about it right before starting this recording of when I told how. Actually, do you know the full Smash Chat story? Should I recap it?
You might need to recap it for me. I'm a small brain traffic cone.
So for those who may not be coming from the older series, which port priority will stay up as a backlook if you do want to see the second rendition. But for people who don't know what the original Smash Chat was, where I really got my start in kind of my current presence, because at that point I had switched to Reach pretty much full time, was where with Smash Chat, an interview series that ran with all kinds of people, but specifically like people I saw as positive or strong influences within the Smash scene or in content creation in general. Anybody I thought was upcoming and on a track to be a bigger creator, who I just thought was somebody that really did deserve the marketing because they were that solid, that like that positive, that upbeat. I would just invite them on and have them on. We did like about 14 episodes. There were some big names we had on there. Like now, a lot of people know the Games Cage, Fidel. He was on there twice. I first talked to him when he was, I believe, 2K followers on Twitter, and I just thought he was a really, really cool dude. I knew he was going places, and I got him to come on twice, which was great. I had Wyatt Baker, a voice actor friend of mine who best known for some of the Giga anime and minutes videos. He was Car Crash in Epithet Erased.
Woo!
Uh,
Shout out homeboy.
I know you
Shout out
love that.
homeboy.
Toast, one of the best young links in the world for in terms of Smash. And then like Justin Warden, pretty popular melee artist. Supergirl Kells was on there at one point. That was though that I didn't actually host that episode. Like that was a pretty big thing for me until the partner I was working with deleted his entire channel and all of our content,
Yeah,
everything I had worked on up until that point.
yeah, you went from all them to downgraded
I
from
lost I lost
video.
all well the big
Yeah.
what really sucks is those VODs of the Smash Chat episodes were kind of my link to getting, more guest and commentating
Yeah,
opportunities.
yeah. You
So
definitely
like
have to have stuff going first
the
before you
amount of
just
times
hit
I got a
full
guest because
on.
I was like, we had, hey, this is our thing. Here's an example of when we had such and such on, and like showing off those names does, attract more interest.
It does. No, it very much does.
Definitely continued scale up. So when I lost that, I lost all my commentary reels from crew battles. I lost all the Smash Chat episodes. I lost pretty much everything. And then desperately tried to bring it back as port priority, which you can see on my channel now, is I believe the only two things, excuse me, the only two things remaining on there other than like a short or two. And didn't didn't go super great. Despite the fact that I really like those episodes, the production quality went down, I mean, tenfold. So bringing this back around now is honestly both strange and really, really satisfying to finally have looped back to honestly my comfort zone. This is just kind of where I kicked off with getting good at speaking for one thing, because I
Hmm.
streamed pretty much silently before that. I would do speedruns and stuff like that, and I didn't need to talk a lot. Versus, now I never shut up.
That's
So
funny. That's funny.
yeah, I mean that's just it's strange. It really is strange to kind of bring it all full circle. And I know you've kind of had a similar experience, especially when we watched some of the older stuff you did, where you started with games, I mean, you don't even touch anymore.
Oh yeah, I
But
did. I had just so many games like that. Oh
but
fuck.
I mean, you have kind of wrapped around because like I know you're not playing the same games, but I think definitely comparing to like even when I met you, like I think your stuff is more at its most natural now as it's ever been.
Oh, very much so. My content before my content pre pre June last year sucked. And
I
that's
wouldn't go
this is
that
that's
far,
just
but
no. It's just part of it. Is you to I think one thing people have to realize as content creators, especially people who are starting to create, is you might suck, and that's fine because your stories will be brand new, you've never done before. Even me, who's like, yeah, I've streamed and I've done videos my entire life, but like they were never really great. So like
mhm,
now you have to like, especially watching other people who are really good at what they do, watching them and taking influence and like learning from them, that is super important. I think when people don't yeah, not people do that shit. They'll just try to copy blatantly, and that's not the way to go. You need to just
mhm,
take inspiration and just kind of look, okay, this person's trying to do this, it's kind of working. Okay, well, if I did this, but like this way for me, and see how that works, and then oh, if that didn't work, all right, come back and try something else. So really before, because think about it. So I went from starting in February to June. It's like even it's called June to when I met you, right? That June 29th, whatever that day was, 26th. We did the Sonic stream. So from that February to then, I only gained 100 followers from starting, right? From I went 200 to 300. From that June to now, obviously it's a few more months, right? Extra. I went from that 300 to closing in on 1,000. In that time, in that span from June to now, I've learned how to edit. I've uploaded videos on YouTube. I've done memes on Twitter. I post on Twitter. I schedule tweets on there. I've scheduled shit on shorts on TikTok and YouTube, and had pretty solid growth on across every platform I've had. It's just how much do you want to put in is how much you're gonna get out of it. And if you're not gonna put in a lot of it, you're just gonna again go hit the start thing. It's gonna be the same shit. Or if you don't, especially if you can't look in the mirror and be like, oh yeah, this wasn't a really good short. I want to make the next one better. Oh, this wasn't really good. This wasn't a good stream. That wasn't a good idea. I was kind of boring. I didn't talk a lot. Let's go get some ideas. Let's make sure I write down stuff I did through the day that I want to talk about and have stuff to talk about all the time. So if someone comes in, boom, they're already listening and they know what I'm talking about. Shit like that means so much of a difference. And it just doesn't, it's not really, it's not like taught. Like I feel like I've seen, I
no,
don't know if you've seen this, man, but there's people who do like VTuber like introduction classes. Like I've seen
yeah,
and that's a good thing. I've talked to people who've done them and they seem very positive about it.
yeah,
But a lot of it is really like I feel like a lot of it's for when you get to that, like you pass that 1,000 hump, or you get past like 5K on Twitter, and then you can start posting where the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to get the ground floor level like advice, because there's a lot of it, and I think it can be very overwhelming to someone just starting. But I think if you go about it right and just kind of do what you think is fun first, as long as you're doing what you think is fun, then you should be fucking whatever you're like. Just go do that. You know,
Yeah.
like do that first. And then if you give a shit to get bigger, or you want to like try to play an algorithm or something, then worry about that later. But like I just play Tetris, and that's my best streams. That's all. I love that shit. That's my favorite thing to do.
Well,
So
that's
like
why
when
I'm
you
the
get to that
strongest
point,
soldier of it too, because I do agree with you on like the
yeah.
should be for fun of like I do know, and I've had people even express to me directly a frustration with the fact that we both do not well, how do I phrase this? Let's put it this
Let's hear
way.
it.
To go a
Live on
dip,
camera. Live
there
on camera. You can't cut this out, boys. What's he gonna say?
there is an important message that I think everyone should hear of just because you put a lot of time into it does not mean it will be your best work. That
Yeah,
is just
that's
always
true.
going to be the case. It does not mean it will be your most popular, does not mean it will be your best. And, you know, like I have had people directly express to me frustration with the fact of like I take pride in being extremely scuffed as a streamer. It's just kind of what I do. I don't
That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
yeah, and
But
it's like I don't pour. There are plenty of things where I've been dissatisfied. Like I'm still not done editing. I never finished out the clip compilation so far. It literally,
yes.
even though I have to add two more and I'm done. It's like, but like I've done streams where it's like there's been streams where I pour my heart and soul, energetic for like 4 to 5 hours. Like when I was doing the 14-hour Valorant stream, sometimes, like
Yeah.
sometimes, and then I would come back the next day, do one in like like 2 or 3 hours, and maybe I'm at that point my energy's dead, and then randomly at the fourth hour it's like shit popped off, and it was the best stream of my entire year.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
it's
how it
just how
goes.
it happens. Twitter
There's
posts are
time.
a great example of that.
Yeah, right. There. I mean, fuck. I a lot of my shorts don't do very good on Twitter. Which is fine. I don't know if it's how the video is or whatever. There's a million things it could be, or there's not funny. Who knows? But the other day, like, so average Cooper short post on Twitter, especially like one of the ones that I'm talking about something like the Fidel Castro basketball, or like the P, or the letter P. Those they'll be higher. They'll like 30, maybe fucking who knows, 30, 40 likes max. And the fucking the web P one that I was kind of taught like marketing towards, like that is like a hey, other creators, doesn't this suck ass, isn't this stupid, like that type of thing, that got almost 100 and like a bunch of retweets and people talking about it and conversation about it, which is important because people were talking about it, and that's super important to get people to talk about your shit. And like I had no fucking idea that would have struck a chord with so many people. Like I thought it was, that was
Yeah, then
something
you're
that
a
generally
fool
pissed
because
me off.
WebP is a hot topic.
Well, yeah, yeah, right. That's not like, that's such a stupid topic to talk about. And I made that video in one take and just ran it, and that was it. Like there was no, there's always those videos, there's always those streams where like I didn't want to stream today. Ah, fuck it, I'll play some whatever, just Valorant or fuck around or Tetris or War Thunder, and it pops off. You get a cool raid and you have people there chilling, they like it and all, they're liking you and everything. It's just how it is. You have to be ready for the luck time, because those are gonna be like, you can put as much effort as you want, like you said, and you might not get lucky. You might just not have people watch you. You might be the most energetic person of all time, and you just don't get it. But if you keep that up enough, someone will notice eventually. It doesn't matter, even if it takes a year.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna see it and be like, "Oh shit, this guy's kind of popping off. He's funny. He's energetic. He's doing stuff." It just depends. It's just different for everyone of how long that will take. Which is a hard pill to swallow. Again, I don't know why
Yeah,
we're getting
for
like
sure.
depressing topics today.
I mean,
About
I don't know
creating.
that it's go that depressing because the one reason I also wanted to talk about this in
Cargo
your
stuff.
episode specifically is we have both tried multiple times to start with content. This is not our first attempt. We
Oh
have both
yes,
done
very much
multiple
so.
YouTube channels. We have both done multiple, multiple Twitch attempts, even if it's not. I think,
Back to back.
yeah, it's like we have vastly changed a lot, and I really want it to be kind of like a cautionary tale to people of like it would have been so easy to give up after the first like I was
Oh
never gonna
yeah.
go anywhere with the speedrunning stuff. I wasn't even placing consistently above like top 20 or 30 in leaderboards even for the games I
Yeah.
was running. It's like shit like that, and it's like I was too scared to talk a lot of the time. Like it was not an efficient way to do content, and it
Mhm.
took really vastly changing what I was doing to grasp that. It's like sometimes it does take a couple goes. Sometimes like you do need to just actually take the time to figure it out. If you're expecting to try content creation and succeed within a year, you are just really barking into the wrong field. If you do, fantastic. Good for you, and I am
It's very
extremely happy for you. But also it's like you cannot set that expectation for yourself and expect it to work out 100% of the time. It's just not how this field or industry works.
yeah. It's very very difficult to have it succeed super fast. There's only so many in the fucking I don't even know if it's hundreds or thousands now of VTubers I've seen in the past year that have started on Twitter and or Twitch and went to try to go. And even though they count the ones who are still around with us or the ones who graduated or not here, I think I've only maybe seen like a handful of very successful ones in their first 6 months, first year, since I've been around. It's not. There are people that I know who've been doing this for years, and they are still just enjoying what they're doing, but they maybe not they're getting a bunch of followers, maybe they're not averaging over 10 viewers or whatever, but they're still enjoying what they're doing. As long as you have that, I think that just matters a ton. But if you're coming in with to the thing, coming into this expecting to be like, I'm gonna be that guy day one, it's very, 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 very it's good confidence, but it's very, very you gotta take yourself a little less seriously going into it. You're still an anime character on the internet for the most part, trying to have fun
Exactly.
and bring people in. You're not gonna do that being like trying to be the most serious person in the world day one. So you
Yeah,
just
and I mean, well, and
have
then also
expectations.
it's because success is different for everybody too. Like maybe you will
That too,
see
yeah.
like the rise. Like for example, I would go so far as to say that we are successful with our attempts into streaming. Like even if it's
I
obviously not
would
our
so.
careers, I'd
Yeah.
call it success. We do pretty well.
Yeah.
I love my community. I know you love yours. I mean, we have some great people that pop in here, new faces all the time, which rocks. And it's like I am having more fun with it than I ever have. And I am
I can see
far,
some better
far,
people
far,
now
far,
too.
far from the echelons that most people want to be at. It's like I think people do need to consider also like the different vantage points of what success means. Because this is success to me. Because this is what I enjoy. This is my favorite hobby. And it is now not only personally fulfilling, but also productive.
Yeah, I think you people underestimate too. I know Piper did a great um video or like series on it, or like little like post on Twitter. Miss Piper's sick. They have so much good shit. But regardless, like if you average, like I'm looking right now, you are what 614. You just passed 600. Congratulations, by the way. You average a
Yeah.
pretty good amount for that number. You average like 12 people, 13 people every night, just playing the games you like fighting games, or just chatting your community. That's the top 2% of Twitch. Like that's of all Twitch. That's all of it. That is such a good mark to hit. That's a very successful stream, regardless of what you consider success. Like even if you're like, oh well, it's not enough for this. It's still super successful.
For sure.
I don't think people don't realize that. Even if it's like, oh, you're not a big numbers person, like just the fact that you have 5 to 10 people who just show up every time, like
Is
that
badass.
that's awesome. Yeah, like not to shout my son out, but Ligma is in my every time. He says hi, dad. Every time I hit go live, and that's the coolest thing ever. I mentioned the other day, like I've made merch of this stupid fucking character I love, and people have bought it. What a cool fucking feeling. That's it. Who cares? If it was only like 10 people. That's successful as fuck. That's awesome. Like that's
I still have
amazing.
one charm on my backpack.
Exactly. So it's success is different for everyone, but I think even looking at the smaller successes, even if it's not exactly what you wanted when you set out to do it, I think it's still important to value those because if you don't value it, you're not going to value it when you get the big shit. You're just going to keep wanting more, and then you're just in a fucking constant power loop, and it's not fun. So
Absolutely.
you have to take what you have and just like realize like wow, I'm actually doing this. Even if you hitting affiliate, that's a success. Averaging 6 people, that's a success. Like you getting to that shit make it a success for yourself. Like it's still big for anyone to do that. Like not everyone's doing this. It's not easy to be a streamer. If you're a streamer and you're averaging 10 people, you're doing it right. You're doing something right. So people need to realize that and just fucking work off of that instead of trying to work off of like the I got what's it even called? It's like vengeance. I don't know what it is. Like the fucking the drive of like being upset, I guess. Of like, oh, I'm not them, or I don't have this yet. I need to keep working. It's like, yeah, be hungry, but you have to stop and accept the little things and enjoy them.
For sure. Yeah, it's never going to be a bad thing to strive to push yourself further. But it
Yeah.
is going to become a bad thing when you put those expectations and set them out of reach. And then force that,
Uh,
force that onto your own content and stuff like that. I mean, especially for example, like if you're early on in the process and really fighting to get bigger numbers and you're not seeing that success even within a week of streams worth, it's like that becomes so discouraging so fast. And I know far too many people that where it's like, oh, last stream I had 17 people in the stream and like 10 live chatters, and the next stream I had like 4 and 6. It's like clearly my channel is dead. I've done something wrong. I need to change it. And I was like, no, one was a Saturday, one was a Tuesday. Shit's
There's
just
so
different.
much things.
It's like there's all
So
these
many
kinds of
things that go
factors.
into it.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like you're playing a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh board. It's like you have to keep track of the effects here, and not everything is within your control. And that's not even always a bad thing. I personally live for a lot of the smaller streams sometimes because it can be less pressure when I'm just talking to Greed or Cupid or like maybe a new person that gets to introduce themselves without the pressure of a huge
Yeah.
chat to try and join in on. Like
Mhm.
I know for a lot of my new faces that pop up, they feel way more comfortable when it's not a chat filled with just regulars and I can respond to them individually. Or like they know they're being acknowledged and they don't have to worry about fitting into the crew. Like it's super great, and I love those things. It's like you have to be able to find the positives in this kind of stuff, or else
Yeah.
I
No,
mean at that point it's just never going to be good for your mental health.
you'll always be upset. You want to be happy. It's the fact that like, especially with like, there's so many fucking factors that come into it, dude. There's people who have like thousands of followers who might only have a few people watching that day because it's a fucking random Wednesday at like 12
Yeah,
p.m.
I see it all
And
the time.
it's
I
like,
know. I mean, I have a friend that is 3.7K, and sometimes their streams have 40 people, and sometimes their streams have 5 people.
exactly. So it's just it's all like, if you want to get into the metrics and the stats of all that, we could talk about that shit all day. I fucking love it, but that's not what we're here to do on fucking the den.
In the den.
But there's in the den. There's so much that goes into it. And if you really want to learn about that stuff, there's people that'll teach you. Fuck, just DM me. I'll fucking tell you about it. I won't shut the fuck up. Ask Reach. Like, I love that shit. But you're gonna lose your fucking mind doing it. So just stream the shit you want to stream and have fun. I will say though, if you're streaming like just Fortnite, then you might have a harder time than some other people. Some streaming fucking. I streamed SCP Secret Lab, or not Secret Lab, the Container Breach. That's a game that no one really watched anymore, and people who do watch it are super diehard people who are first playing it for the first time. So when people who never like are streaming it, they're more inclined to hop in than number 1500 million Fortnite player. Like they're not gonna watch that, And that's a metric obviously too. But regardless, if it depends on what you want, what you're playing, have fun with it. But if you want to grow, they're totally off topic. Don't play
Maybe,
Fortnite,
you know
please.
what I'll say here is for anybody that's
uh,
watched this far either in Twitch or in the actual video when this goes up, I do think there's an argument to be made that maybe we should come back at some point, and I wouldn't mind doing like a starter guide set to Twitch of like
that'd be
how to
fun.
choose what
I'd love to do
category
that.
you play in, how to choose what days you're like picking certain games, getting started with your OBS, stuff like that. Like there's a lot to figure out early on, especially like one of the biggest things I learned was choosing my category. Like, for example,
Mhm.
like you have to know which big games are good to be a part of. Like Valorant, for example, was a huge category, hard competition, extremely stiff because of how many different
Oh,
people are streaming it, but it had some of the most random viewers of any of the categories where you actually were pretty likely to have people come in just because they saw Valorant and everybody knew the game versus, some of this other stuff like for example, like CS:GO and stuff like that. Like most of those category watches come from the biggest streamers on it.
yeah.
Like you are probably not going to have a ton of success only going in with no other plan and just streaming that because people are probably sticking to like the 3 or 4 top players that stream within that category. Like I won't belabor on it too much because I definitely do not want to make the whole thing like the small stream like or the smaller streamer getting started type deal. But if people are interested, either in the comments of this on Twitter or in Twitch chat, just like mention if you would like to see that. I think at minimum, I know we would both be interested in doing that.
I've actually done a few shorts on that exact topic already. For a few things, I can't even remember what the fuck they were 'cause they were a while ago. But there's so much. There's
The
so
tweets
like I
I know
said,
was one of them.
the tweets was one. I think the tweets was one. What was the other? Oh my god, there was something else. I think it was the one was the model, like don't buy a model or something like that.
Hmm.
There is so much you can get into, and obviously we're not the biggest streamers on earth, but obviously we know what we're doing. Some fucking what,
I
right?
mean, when you're in the game
So
this long, you pick some stuff up.
you can see it, and it might not work for you, but it can work for someone else really well. So there's so much that goes into it, like I said, but it can be very overwhelming starting out. Um, but I mean, yeah, I'd be very down to do that. Also, tags are super important. Fucking use your tags,
True.
really.
Yeah,
I had
that's
so many people for tags recently, and it's better than categories. So make
I
sure you do
I will
that.
switch into that because that is a worthy next topic. And real quick, this will be the only time I mention it throughout probably any of the episodes, or maybe I'll do it once per. But for these are recorded and streamed live on Twitch for the actual filming and will be throughout the entire process.
Woo!
So if people are in the Twitch chat and do have questions they want to offer up, those are the kinds of things that I will be checking. I am observing. So if you have anything aimed specifically at Cooper or just a topic you'd like us to talk about, you can also throw that in the comments of this video when it goes up, and I can bring that in next time if perhaps it corresponds to another guest, or maybe if I end up doing solo episode entries of this, which I likely will, then I can go ahead and tackle a lot of them in a breakdown. But yeah, tags are huge, especially because of how much people like to discover like within their own niches. I cannot tell you how big you would be surprised with. Well, I know you wouldn't at this point, but most people would be
Yeah,
surprised. People are like, "You really put the ADHD tag in there?"
that one's huge.
I
That
was
one's
like,
fucking
that.
crazy.
I only put that there at
Oh,
the
it's
beginning, so I was
crazy.
like, man, I want people to realize it's like if I am being super energetic and highly annoying,
That's
and then
why.
completely silent and not interesting the next, like it is very much because of my ADHD. It's like I
Oh,
just
I've
wanted
seen.
people to
I've
be
met you in person.
aware, and then now I have so many people come in from that tag alone just because they like seeing somebody else that understands what it's
Who's
like.
like them? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even like, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum from that is like the FGC tag, where it's like people like coming in there because it's like it's a fun, pretty tight knit community.
Hmm.
Where they're like, man, I like seeing people. I probably want to try and fight them too, like that type of deal. Like people come in here and just want to throw hands with me, and live on stream and stuff like that. It's like that's been another super useful tag. Like they are even if nobody uses them, not only is it a good content label, but eventually I would say there's like a 99.9% chance that that tag does something, whether it's not a viewer that pops in then sees one and is interested, or somebody that happens to find you browsing Twitch by one of the tags. Like it will attract you something. It's so worth putting them up.
It is. It's. I know. For me, it's like the FGC for you is apparently the Tetrio and Tetris community is fucking very very tight knit. I didn't know this until the last few weeks, but those are pretty tight communities. So having just like playing Tetrio but having Tetris as a tag is super fucking useful. Didn't know that was a thing until people were like, yeah, I came in for this. So yeah, it's super. Those are fucking very important. Like, people don't realize that. I don't think.
Yeah, that's because I think that's one of the more like hidden sides of it. Like everybody knows to throw on tags, but I don't think people pick up super hard on the importance of it. Like I think people know to do it. I don't think they realize how much it does for them. Here
Hmm.
we have one of the first question, and that is not you didn't miss it at all. We kind of glazed over it
We
only because we've
skimmed it a
talked
little
about it
bit.
before, but I do not mind talking about it again. We've talked about what inspired VTubing for both of us, because for you it was wanting to
Just
get
had
in
my
with
model.
Farns, and for me it was Jin and you. Because
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
content probably to be a PNG tuber. Well, because I didn't even call myself that for a long time. But you're what
I
pushed
take
me to get the
pride.
model.
I take pride in pushing Reach.
Now
I will
you guys
say,
get
like you
this.
said, with my content, your content has been very, very good recently. It was always very good, but it's been very. You've been very a very good content creator recently. So congratulations on that. It's been sick. You deserve every 600 of those people, 614, 615, where the fuck it is. You've been awesome so recently. So keep that shit up. It's been sick.
Well,
Recently,
and
as in the last few months.
a lot of the
This
shift can be
yeah.
attributed to you, so I have you to thank just as
I know.
much.
You know me.
Uh,
But yeah, not
but
you.
to
I can
answer
only
that
do so
question,
much.
do you want to go ahead and lead with like what started you with the content
Yeah.
creation
Yeah.
specifically, like
Sure.
just overall?
Yeah. So when I was okay, so let's go back. I've been on YouTube since 2011. It's at some in some form, right? So little kid Cooper was there. And obviously every kid wanted to be Smosh and YouTube back then. So I was just trying to do that. That was a lot of fun. I was like making jokes. I was always the funniest brother I had. For all the time. I was always the funniest in my family. I just made people laugh, and that was always my big thing. I was always an entertainer. So, and I always put shows on for my friends and shit. So I was like, oh, I fucking love YouTube. It's fun. Let's do that. And that never really worked out. It was a lot. Didn't know how to edit a lot back then at all. So then Twitch came around, and it was fairly new to me. But in 2020, and everything shut down, I had nothing better to do than just stream with my friends. So I started doing that, and it was like super fun. I was like, oh, "This is fucking sick." I met new people from around the world. being a Twitch streamer back then, especially now, it's still relevant, but not as relevant. People really wanted to talk to the smaller streamers. They would go out of their way to find those streamers just to have a conversation with someone. Um, and that was awesome. That was so much fun to talk. Like I have friends from back then, 2 years or 4 years ago that I still talk to now. Fuck, Grim's my mod. I met them through Twitch, but as I was just enjoying it a lot, and I still tried YouTube, just didn't really have the effort drive to it. And then I went to college, obviously. Didn't work out, had some issues, and I was home for a year. And this was last February or last November, I guess. So I got my model in February, and I was streaming kind of more recently in December of that year of 2021, I believe 2022. So I was doing that. I was like, damn, okay, I'm gonna be home for a year because I have to get this shit settled. Fuck it, I'm just gonna put. I want to do streams 3 times a week. I'm gonna just be a streamer and just do my thing and just see how it goes because I've always wanted to be a content creator, and if this is the only year I have left of free time, I'm just gonna do it as well as I can until I can't, and at least I know I tried my best to do what I could. I didn't really expect it to get this far. I kind of had goals in my head, but I didn't think we would get to what we were. So besides just the genuine, just me liking entertain people and making them laugh, I was just kind of like, this is the last shot for me to really try and like start. I wish I did this 4 years ago and gave a shit, but I guess better like than never. So here we are.
Yeah, I think it's funny because mine was kind of almost the antithesis in regards of like I really didn't want to be what you were describing in regards of like I liked every single process of content creation other than being on camera.
Really,
I
I love
really
it. I love it.
I used to do so much editing, like I loved it. So a big to track back for me because I've been doing YouTube about as long, but I've been doing Twitch for I spent less time on YouTube and a lot more on Twitch into like
Uh,
going into the late 2010s. Because once the stuff with Ed fell through, I really had no other fallback. For me, content creation was just because of how much I love games. Like that was really where it comes down to it.
that yeah.
And
Mm,
specifically loving competitive games, there was always that itch of like I wanted to post speedrun times and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like the YouTube was really fun because it was great to just mess around, do stuff like that, and like have people join in on shit I enjoyed. But Twitch was way more because of like I just really wanted to show off gameplay specifically, and then once I tried commentating, I got hooked on like the I just love bouncing off and talking and improving and
yeah.
flow and like it took me a really long time to accept the fact and like if this is the one moment you guys let me have a little bit of an inflated ego. Like I'm pretty witty, I would say. Like on
I
the
would say,
cut in terms
yeah.
of like off the cuff jokes and stuff like that, like it took me a long time to realize like I'm pretty good at it. I've
Mm,
always gotten really good feedback from it. The amount of friends that have told me it's like especially before I started commentating that I should try it because it'd
yeah.
be like I'd hang with my 2 or 3 friends and fucking be a riot the whole time, get into a group of like 5 or 6, and I wouldn't say a word. It was just too hard. And then until I built the confidence, and then once I hit that, I mean, it was addicting to be like just so much fun. Getting to meet all these new people, do all this new stuff, and finally, like, and I still got to engage with editing and all the other aspects like video editing, like actual like thumbnail edits, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
like getting involved with content creation other than just speaking all the time. It was really only, and this is kind of just me being jaded, but like the having all of my YouTube work undone is definitely what pushed Twitch to feel more comfortable because like even if I lose streams, it's like I'll just come back, hit start stream, and do whatever I want for a couple hours without a ton of stress. And I don't
Don't
have to
worry.
worry about like something I put like some of the Smash Chat episodes were weeks worth of planning to get a guest on board and like knowing that like 3 hours of content per episode through 15
Yeah.
episodes was lost. Like that still hurts my
It's
soul.
brutal. I'm
But
sure.
like now I can just hop on and do this whenever. And it's like, oh no, I lost that one Duelist of Eden. I'll just do another one. Like I'll just do it
Yeah.
again. It's like, and there's really no pressure to it. And if I don't stream for a day or do this and that, like it's not a project that I have to spend weeks of my time worrying about or stressing about to get up there. Now I can just hop on and talk with some of my favorite people in the world, aka anybody who will listen to my dumbass for more than 10 minutes and have a great time. Like that is so to answer your question, Turtle, what got me into it is the fact that like before I really hated people, but I realized how much I enjoy just the interaction and getting to goof around with like somebody that actually gets my vibe and knowing that like if people come back, nobody's forcing you guys to join the stream. It is so
Exactly.
comforting to know that it's like people that either do enjoy my presence or at least care enough to show up. Like that
I
makes me
think
feel so much more secure being a fucking
a creator.
absolute goofball and making
Oh,
jokes and stuff like that. Yeah, and a creator. Well, it's like because I would create
I
even
got
if
you.
nobody watched, but I'm only as
That's
comfortable
true.
as I am because I know people do.
Yeah. I think something else you mentioned too, it's really good is making do you how you like making thumbnails and edits and shit. I fucking I hated thumbnails and edits and making all that shit for so long. And recently, shout out Gadget for teaching me how to make thumbnails and shit. But like recently, especially like since July for edits at least, I have fucking loved editing. I have love editing, and I love making thumbnails now. Like I did the
It's
whole
so funny how parallel our
it's so
journeys are.
yeah, it's just flipped. Like I went through fucking I was so proud of myself. I went through all my Twitch VODs that I have like or my highlights and it's put thumbnails for all of them so they look nice now instead of
Hmm.
like just random screen caps.
Yeah,
And I was like, that's awesome. Let's fucking go. Like there was shit just small shit like that where it's like it makes you happy. That's how you know you're doing something right 'cause you actually enjoy what the fuck you're doing. Because that shouldn't
for
make
sure.
any normal person like so excited and I was so happy about something so small.
Yeah. Yeah. For and then honestly, because we're talking about like the flip in the journey, I think so there was also the mention of like as Twitch VTubers, any aspects of YouTube, I'm gonna count it. I know it says YouTube streaming, but I'm gonna count it as
Yeah, as
YouTube in
YouTube.
general. We've both kind of moved away from YouTube being the main focus. Twitch is definitely like I do you agree that it's like your main thing now, right?
That's why I'm so worried about it. Is I'm
Yeah, no, I
leaving.
feel you. But it's like,
Um,
'cause there's a lot I do. As much as I hate what happened with YouTube, there is a lot I miss about it. I mean, that's part of why I'm kind of trying to get back into it. Like specifically the interview series is what I miss.
yeah.
I miss being able to throw something up that I was proud of and worked on, and like actually post it and leave it and see that and have it as a polished result. Versus like sometimes I do get kind of like I still put in a lot of effort for streams. Don't get me wrong, but it's
But it's
like it
not
is a
as
different vibe.
YouTube is different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
I think
I don't know if you'd agree.
YouTube is really weird because especially with shorts, I don't know how they so YouTube sucks kinda because well YouTube streaming to answer the first part of the question, I don't like YouTube streaming at all. I'm not a fan of it. I think Twitch people I will die on the hill that Twitch itself is just such a better like platform to stream. Your
Yeah.
channel is set up to promote your streams. Your like everything about it is to set up to promote your streams, not your videos. You can put videos on if you want. I don't think a lot of people know that, but you don't have to. You can just stream and that's it. YouTube will always promote videos first and it's the streams will always be second. Like you can never just find a random YouTube stream. You know what I mean? Like you'll never just like stumble across one, unless it's someone who's massive. And then at that point, what's even the point for that? So for the streaming aspect, I don't really fuck with it at all. I think it's cool that
Yeah.
they have it. If they made it more accessible, because I think if you ask like a good bit of people that are like don't really know YouTube or streaming, if you're like, hey, you know YouTube, you can stream on YouTube, they're like, really? Like that's fucking. I didn't know
That's
that.
why I
Like
got
I
so
get
annoyed when everybody was
it's
like, "Are you going to switch to YouTube now that they were changing the splits and stuff like that, and things like that?" And I was like,
no.
"No, because
Twitch
Twitch is
Twitch
just
is the place to stream. Twitch
yeah,
is the place to stream.
it's
It's
where
as
I'm
sad as it is,
comfortable."
it's not perfect. Exactly. But as YouTube as a whole, so what's scary is going from a streamer to YouTuber is very different. I've discovered that a lot in the last few weeks making Let's Plays. It's a lot more worrying because I know people will show up for streams, but like I feel like getting people to watch YouTube videos is not always the easiest. I don't know why.
Yeah, I
It's always
mean,
been a struggle, but it's just scary to go from that one because it's nice to have content that doesn't go anywhere that's always going to stay there.
yeah.
But having that as like it's there forever, and if it sucks later down the line where you're like editing new videos, it's like oh shit, it sucks. You know what
Well,
I mean?
that's why I like
Or
it
if it's just
specifically
horrible,
for
it
the
just
edited
sucks.
shit. Because even if like a Twitch stream is my absolute favorite thing, it's like I don't have like it won't have like music and edits and stuff like that. It's like once that video goes up, like even the shorts are a great example. That first short that
Mhm.
you did, the FNAF one, is still one of my
Yeah,
favorite things to come out of this channel. Like I
yeah,
know other people, that's not even one of my more popular ones on TikTok. It's still my favorite, and I'm so glad it's there
yeah.
because it feels like it honestly is one of the best representations of my content, in my opinion. It's funny,
Hmm.
snappy, short, quick to the point, and it feels really nice.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
that's what I miss about YouTube, I think, is like I feel like with Twitch, I enjoy myself more. There's just less that I'm explicitly proud of over time versus like the Smash Chat
Mhm.
episodes. Because like especially with those, I mean, I got better every episode at what I was doing. By the last like two or three, I felt so natural as a host at that point. Like I was loving it. I
Mhm.
felt so in my element, and like I could see that growth. It's like
YouTube.
that is what I really miss with YouTube. And that kind of like and for the question of like have we thought about streaming on both YouTube and Twitch? That's
I
actually
have.
the only reason I've really been thinking about co-stream for so much is because it's like it's less because I just want to play into both fields and more because like I kind of want to bring some of the Twitch following over to my YouTube a little bit better because I'd love to start it back.
Yeah, I think it's good to go to YouTube if you have a dedicated following on Twitch. Like I know I think the only person I think who could actually who really succeeded on YouTube in any form was Lachlan because Lachlan stream
Yeah.
would have a very he had a good bit on YouTube and he had a very dedicated viewer base too and he makes really good videos so that's another thing that you need to do both of those. Um, but like just the fact that oh my god. So YouTube's algorithm, as much as I hate talk about this, obviously, everyone knows I hate numbers, surely, wink wink. But the way to succeed on YouTube, I feel like is very hidden. It's not very explicit on how you're supposed to do shit. You can do the same thing over and over again, and it could be a million different like if it works or not, it's fucking coin flip. Twitch is very upfront with how to succeed. Even if you might succeed slower than someone else, there's like a playbook to being a VTuber on Twitch that you could use and abuse if you really, really, really were like, I need to get this number now. Like I want to be that guy. Um, I don't think it's sustainable to do that, but you can do it. And I think that's nice about Twitch is like you can kind of know how to grow on it and like what to do and what you're supposed to do to put yourself in the best situation. But I think for YouTube, like I had a short, like I did this experiment. I have a short for two very similar shorts for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, right? Both same times, both same kind of contents and same kind of jokes in them. One got like 10,000 views and cool. I put the same tags and same everything on the next one, and that was yesterday, and I got 5. So there's no real like book to how to work YouTube, and that kind of sucks because you can
Yeah.
you can keep working and getting better, but I feel like at in that platform it won't see you as much as people will see you on Twitch getting better because you're already getting so like people on Twitch are very dedicated viewers. YouTube can a lot of it is people who aren't even subscribed to you, which is a super different like culture shock, I guess. Going from one platform to the other. So that's why I really never gave a shit about streaming on there because it's just I've seen so many other friends who have done the co-stream stuff and it just really doesn't work to any success. Or it's there for like convenience, but it's nothing else, you know?
Yeah, like that's definitely what it is. Because the only reason I would ever care about YouTube streaming is not for the streaming on YouTube. It would be to better connect into the actual YouTube videos. Twitch will
Exactly.
always be my home for like live content. Just because not only do I feel comfortable here at this point, but it's just better for it in my opinion. Especially because it is true. Like it takes a lot less luck to get involved with shit on Twitch than it does with YouTube. Because like I am very, very confident I could, in some way, shape, or form, like, force a semi-successful stream with just enough dedication, planning, and figuring out, like, what would be the popular content right now. The tier list was a
Hmm.
great example. I knew that would do well, and that
Yeah.
wasn't why I did it, but I could already have told you that was going to be a
It would have done
better,
well.
yeah, compared to, like, I could have thrown that video up on YouTube. I could have played so hard into the current YouTube meta, and I would never be able to guarantee if I get more than 10 views. Like it's
Yeah.
just
It
impossible. You can't say it for sure because that's just not how YouTube works.
it changes per number, how many subscribers you have, what your average viewers are. It change every little thing on YouTube can change. Twitch is a very straightforward. Have interesting tags that are correlated to your game. Make sure you're in the right category. If like VTuber wise, if you really want to be successful with stuff really quick, have a really pretty model that probably costs a lot. Have nice layouts and shit. Look good, sound good. Have like a VTuber voice and shit like that. And you could run. Obviously, those last things you can't really affect yourself. You change much, but like that's the playbook. If you do that shit, you'll probably succeed to some level on here. But if that's sustainable, who knows? But you will succeed at some point. YouTube, you could run the fucking Mr. Beast videos over and over again and have 1, 2 viewers and every time, and it's gonna suck ass.
It's
So there's
I hate the
no real
RNG
winning
of it.
on it.
That's really what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Because Twitch,
That's what I saw.
Twitch is certainly luck too, but it's definitely the fact that I've been on 3 accounts now, and every single time at least seen some form of early success. It's like
Mhm.
it's not just that I'm good at it at this point, because I've only hit my real peak of like comedy and content now.
Yeah.
The second channel attempt was when I first came back under the actual W2 Reach one. There were a couple
Mhm.
funny things in there, but a majority of the content, in my opinion, was terrible. I hit affiliate
Yeah.
super fast on it, but that was more just because of how many people I knew at that point than it was like me being especially funny. That was very different with this channel, where a lot of regulars had already formed at that point and come in, where it was like I could clearly tell that the quality of content was way, 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 way better. It was not
Yeah.
just luck. It was trying hard enough on all three of them, even if my content wasn't the best on the first two, still led me to some form of minimal success. Not as hard as this channel has been, but it was something. It's stuff that I never would have pulled off on YouTube, or at least not without some luck and a lot longer of trying, which is okay. At some point, I would love for YouTube to be a bigger thing for me. But what really sucks is that now that I've kind of lost my passion for editing after like 6 or 7 years of trying, it's like, it's just probably never going to be a thing until I succeed with Twitch and take it to YouTube. I've almost locked
Yeah.
myself out of that sphere in a way, and that's not a like a warning. I mean, perhaps I could do it. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's like a dead attempt for anybody that would want to try. It's just what turns me away from it now. I miss it and I don't miss it at the same time only because of how much more it just feels like a gamble every single time.
Yeah, I think with Twitch, it's like how you were saying, like, how you can succeed on all of them. For me, a big thing was learning how to promote myself and like put out big stream ideas. I know I've told you about that, like how I
Yeah,
feel like I'm very confident in doing that now. But being like, hey, come watch this. And a big thing for me is just getting people to watch because I'm a very, I guess, I'm not in the VTuber mold. I don't sound like one. I don't talk like one. I don't. My model is cool. It's cute and shit, but like it's not the anime style or whatever. It's very different. It's a stupid little object gimmick, you know. So it's not really what you'd expect, and that could work to be. That could be get people interested. But a lot of times it's the promoting and trying to hype people things up that gets people to come out and be like, oh, okay, I'll check it out, and then they usually stay a lot of the time. So that's so much easier to do on Twitch than YouTube because you do that on YouTube, and I guess it's hard to describe. But so you get a YouTube video that goes to 15 views, it's kind of seen as not the best. But you have a stream with 15 people in it, that's a fucking
that's
outrageous.
huge.
That's a success. So I think it's a lot. I think the like the achievement on each platform. I would rather get 50 people live watching me on Twitch and me having conversations with them than have a 15 view video. Even if I do like the video a lot, like I'm sure some of the Let's Plays will probably end up being around that like 15 people watching. Cool, that's cool. I know I have 15 people who wanted to watch that like video. But I'll always rather have the 15 view stream just because I know I'm interacting with people live and it's a more like cohesive tight knit community moment instead of just a video going up. It's easier to
Yeah.
do that. It's more fun to do that for me.
It's a lot more engaging on a personal level, on a content level, those kinds of things. It's like it really just is like I think it will always be a matter of comfort for me, and that's where most people eventually get to, even if it's not where they start. Where YouTube
Yeah.
is a sphere that a lot of people have not learned to tame, and once you get it, I mean, you're pretty locked in. Once you get a
Yeah.
hold on YouTube and you start to like claw your way through the ranks, I mean, congratulations, you are on the hook and reeling your way back in.
It's
Like
just
that's
very hard
fantastic.
to.
Good job, good work. Twitch lets you feel that like the reward and the achievement and the milestones and the markers so much quicker in a lot of ways, and I really do think that's refreshing and when content creation is so hard to make work right now. Like
Hmm.
I think that that is an important steps in being an early process. I would rather right now I would rather succeed on Twitch than YouTube than the other way around
I mean,
because
compare the
which is not
achievements.
used to be the case.
We compare the achievements of both of them. So for Twitch, it's 50 followers, 3 viewer average, 4 days, 5 days streamed, right, in a week or something, or 2 weeks. Boom, affiliate. That's a very, very manageable goal.
Yeah.
That's a super, again, follow the fucking blueprint steps. You can get that shit week, very easy. YouTube has some achievements now, like, oh, congratulations, you had 1,000 followers. But your first major achievement, like affiliate, is 100K.
Yeah.
It's a
You can't
very
even
far
make
off
a
reach.
dime until you've hit one of like
Ex-
you're practically considered like successful on YouTube.
to to be monetized on YouTube, I don't remember the video portion of it, but I know there's two options, and one's the video, but the other is getting 3 million short views in the span of 90 days. It is not
Jesus.
easy. They make
No.
that very hard, and it honestly makes for terrible content. I was just going to do a video on it. There are so many of the like AI voice like explaining movie scene videos that have like 400K likes, and it's like, dude, we got it better. Like there's
Yeah.
so many people doing that shit, and it's horrible. And then obviously that always puts down the guys like us who are just making funny shit and stupid stuff that kind of gets in the washed away because there's so much kind of garbage. But that's just YouTube's algorithm, how it works, and sometimes it'll work for your favor, sometimes it won't. But get back to the point. That's why Twitch is better, I think, in my opinion. It's a very realistic goal for most things. Even fucking partner, even as high as that seems, there are plenty of people who've gotten partner before even cracking 1,000. So it's very realistic to get both of the big achievements on Twitch. I think that makes it more desirable to get it, and more like people are more willing to work towards that than a YouTube plaque that you're never gonna get.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense in the end, because especially like if I have no intention, like I know we both like I cannot take this full time unless I were to see like success that guarantees that I could do it. And that's
Oh
just
yeah,
not
yeah.
realistic. It's
It
always
is
going to be
no.
like the miracle shot in a million. It's
Hmm.
like versus gambling on like the I'm going to do what I can with Twitch until I can't anymore is a lot easier than I'm going to do what I can with YouTube until I can't anymore. Because even right
Yeah,
now, I know that my Twitch is nowhere near being in a spot where I could be like, yep, this is what I do now. It's like, but I'm still being productive. Like, I still have a
yeah,
lot come out of doing this, including like industry network connections, even, which is crazy. I gained
yeah,
so much from doing Twitch, even knowing that it's a door I'm leaving open that will close at some point. And there's so much I'm gonna gain in the run with it versus like just with YouTube. I'll kind of leave it there, but it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, Twitch is a lot better for what we're aiming for just because that is the level we're at and it fosters us a lot better and allows for a lot better growth and engagement and community. It's like then what we could feasibly achieve anywhere else right now. And that's why
yeah.
I mean I saw the thoughts on Kick. I mean, that's why I don't think I ever expressed an interest in Kick. Because it
That place
just
seems like
really
it's
was
dead
just
already.
trying to do what Twitch did with different rulings. And like, as much as I don't love what Twitch does all the time, there's a reason it's successful. There's a reason the
Yeah,
communities are fun and I like Twitch. It's like, you know, in theory, I like the idea of there being a competitor, especially because if people are gonna shit on it all that often, then like I don't mind losing some of the competition on the platform of like
yeah.
actual other streamers and stuff like that. Like, okay, like, I mean, have fun over there, and I'll enjoy like the more comfortable space here. But like Kick did it wrong in my opinion, where they immediately tried to turn it into like a huge rivalry, and it just got stupid. Like if it was just another platform of the big ones, where it's like, hey, this is what, another one to compete with, and some people moved over there, and not this is gonna overtake and kill Twitch and yada yada. And then they got some of like the biggest dickheads in existence to be go stream for them.
That's my big thing with Kick is they have some of the worst people to like show off that account ever. Like it's not the name the creators, but I'm sure you know the ones that start with an A and R. But like, dude, like that's a horrible spokesperson. That's a horrific
Yeah.
spokesperson. And it's a side note on that. That's really funny. They actually have two F1 cars now. In like the Grand or the F1 racing, right? And they both are terrible. They're
Oh
not
boy.
very good. So they're always you see these bright green cars in dead last almost every time. And it's kind of funny. But yeah, Kick's just not. It's a great idea, excellent idea. Like I think we should have same thing for Twitter. Like there should be another website. Like it's not a trademarked format to have that. You can make a website just like Twitter.
It'd be
Stuff Instagram
great.
tried doing
Yeah,
it,
like, and I
but
wish any of them were super successful if it was
exactly,
safe to move. Like, and I will admit, I'm one of the few people where it's like my view with Twitch versus Kick. Like, I probably still wouldn't move, but I would 100% support the idea. Like, I've been a
yeah,
supporter of
no.
like the other Twitter alternatives popping up because it is
I
nice
wish
to
YouTube
have
was
that
good.
competition.
I wish YouTube made streaming more likable because I would definitely at least try streaming on there. But it's just not a fucking. No one does it like Twitch does, and that's just the hard feeling of it, I guess.
Here's a really good question that it is a pivot from the current topic, but I don't want to talk about content creation the whole time anyway. Of like the what parts about your designs are special to you, both models or even like overall channel designs? How did you get to where you are now with them? I'll let you start because mine will take me a
Oh
minute.
boy. So why am I take? Well, I don't know. Why am I not taking that? So, Farnsworth obviously is the character of this, right? I'm Cooper, but this is Farns. So I guess I'll start with kind of this the basic part of him. This was kind of what I drew years ago. At this point, which is crazy. I kind of sucked ass at drawing, and I just drew this little traffic cone guy, and I liked him a lot 'cause he was kind of easy to draw. He was easy to practice. No neck because I couldn't draw necks or anything. And that kind of spiraled into people also liking him, and then just becoming my mascot. So I don't know if it was like it's hard. I like him a lot. He's awesome. That's my fuck. And then obviously I went from there to I get A Labs redesign with the oh sorry, hold on. The A Labs redesign with the jacket and the goggles. And like it just becomes a really fun design that people like. And now it's kind of more it just became like more. So it was super simple and now it's like a nicer, cooler design. I think people like the goggles a lot. Obviously, the jacket's nice and shit. I don't know. I think it's nice that it's just a very unique design. And funny enough, that a traffic cone wearing like thing isn't a very unique thing. Well, it kind of is, but there's definitely others who do it. But I'm happy that people see me and like think of, oh, that's the traffic cone guy, or like that's like it's so stupid and unique that it's like, oh yeah, that's Cooper. So I think that's a super nice thing about him. And what was it? How did you get to where you are now with him? Just fucking people drawing your characters gave me new ideas, and that's how we ended up with this guy, the 2.0 part of him. But yeah, I don't know. I liked him as my mascot. Like he's awesome.
I
I
mean,
guess
mine
I
is
don't know.
very similar, so I feel you. Because specifically, it's like, for those who don't know, I mean, I only talk about it a million times per stream, but Jin is, well, let me start. Jin is, at this point, like a reminder that, like, shit is possible, is what I really think is why she's become so special to me. Because Jin started as stupid doodles in a notebook I have in front of my desk of starting out a game concept when I was like 13 or 14 of a fighting game that I wanted to play. And I was like, man, this character would be so fucking cool. My favorite part of Jin's design overall is the shit you guys don't even see. It's all these notes I have in my phone and in this notebook and on a docs of like how
Oh
she
yeah.
plays, how she fights, how she works, all of her abilities. It's like Jin is. I cannot wait for the day I get to realize Jin in the fighting game she is meant to be in. Once I finish getting through my course and get to finally try my hand at that, I am so, 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 so excited. Jin has been gone through such an evolution of like, she has stayed, her design has not changed that much versus like, once I finally figured out who Jin was versus like I showed off on the art stream a couple of like the original drawings of her, but like once I tried like the blue sweatshirt and the yellow bandana originally, like she has almost never changed since. And like she went from, man, I'm never gonna to make this game, to wow, she's a mascot of mine that people still love and I get to talk about her all the time. It's like I love it because Jin has always been like just a way for me to do shit that I enjoy, of like envisioning a game that I really really want to make, and at some point I hope to make. Jin is the entire reason I'm even in game design, because the whole reason I'm pursuing it is because of how much I love them and how much I want to envision, like finally bring what I've been envisioning for years to life. And so like yeah, like that's why whenever people ask about like lore or like the move set for her, like I love to talk about that stuff. Because my only regret with her being my mascot now is how little I get to show that stuff off. Like, like the specific mechanics. Like Cooper has seen one of the note stocks
I've
I
seen the
have.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like the different forms and then like her meter charge mechanic and stuff like that. Like I think she's so fascinating, and so whenever I get to talk about that, I am super super excited. Jin is I love Jin, and I that there's a reason. Like my favorite shit will always be art of her,
Mhm.
because the character is super special to me, and I cannot wait for the day you get to actually put a controller in your hand and move her around. That will be when I have peaked in life.
Hell yeah. I hope to do that for Farms with one day with something. I also like you said, the favorite part is like the stuff we don't see. I love Farms' lore, and like I want to get more into that one day. I would love to get a comic for him or something, because it's just there's so much I have written in my stupid little Google Doc that like I can't act out. Which kind of leads into the other interesting question I saw down there. If you want to go for that one
Yeah, I
next,
do
because I
think
think
we've
that's a
kind of
really good one.
addressed it a little bit in the sense of like to answer the last part of it, no, we don't actually like we don't act as our characters in terms of
Not
like
at all.
VTubing. Yeah, it's like I never pretend to be Jin. He never pretends to be Farns. But I do think it's fascinating, And I felt called out when somebody pointed this out, how like over time my stream personality has gotten closer and closer to what I describe Jin as. It's like half the like I'll be angrily ranting and yelling, and so
I think that
some
was just you
be like,
being
and
like
you're trying to convince us that you're not the character, because then I'll talk about Jin being like sarcastic asshole. It's
I
like
think it's
we definitely do some stuff with it. Like I don't think we lean into acting as the character or anything like that. Like it's more for me it's definitely face cover. But the line gets a little blurrier the more time goes on because at this point I do think Jin is more closely with my associated with my identity than I ever thought she would be, and I really don't dislike it. I'm kind of okay with it.
that's why I always have to fault me if like there's obviously I've had this character so long that obviously like I've fucking put some of my things into him, like just fucking as a character. But like yeah, blending in myself like a little bit, not entirely, but Farnsworth like in my head has a completely different voice, has a very different like background and story and stuff to me, right? Obviously he's a character. So I don't really try to hide that, and I couldn't tell you how many times I get of just people saying, "Oh my god, wow, your voice doesn't sound like your model," which is completely fine. It doesn't have to.
Oh my
But
gosh, I've never heard
it's
that.
what? Yeah, right. It's yeah. I'm sure. um, but yeah. So I, of course, we're used to that. And that's fine, and that's a good reason because it's like we're not our characters; we're people behind this, regardless.
Yeah.
And that's why I always stress a lot that like I'm Cooper, this is Farnsworth, very different. Or Coopsworth because it's like the partnership between my stupid ass character and me. Like I'm using his
Yeah,
face
that's
to
why
communicate.
whenever something goes
Um,
wrong with the model, I yell at Jin. It's
yeah,
like, Jin, you
exactly.
bitch.
Um, yeah, you tell him good job when you close beach. Hey, good job, buddy.
Oh, that's
You did
still the
good shit.
cutest thing you've ever told me. That's so adorable.
Yeah, I just told my darkest secret. I got it, and you'll never see
That
my
it,
face
it
again.
lets I want to tell that one because you have no idea how Cooper went to close VTube Studio after whatever we were working on. And he goes, Reach, I gotta tell you, he's like, I don't know if this is weird or not, but after every stream when I wrap up before I close VTube Studio, he goes, I look at Parents and I tell him, I was like, good job, buddy. You did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did. I talk to inanimate objects all the time. I don't know, like I always do that with like fucking everything. Like I feel
I
bad.
think
I'm
that
a
is
very soft
incredibly
heart person.
wholesome.
I it's a partnership. It's that's why it's Coopsworth. It's not just Coops. It's both of us. So that's I think the acting thing. I would love to do that and put more lore of him in there. Especially I did with like Charles. Like I brought him in. That's a big story thing for Farns. But like I know what I would want him to be, and it's just not something I want to do on stream all the time. Maybe like parts, but just not. It's just me, and then Farns is the face, if that makes sense. It might make me sound crazy, but whatever. We're just doing that, I
That's
guess.
why I'm happy with how much, like, the more confident I've gotten, the more the Jin and, like, how I act has started to cross. Because it's like,
Hmm.
I don't get a lot of ways to show her off. I mean, especially, it's like, obviously, I can never pretend to be the character
Yeah,
for an
yeah, of
assortment
course.
of reasons, you know? I mean, it's just that, like, especially when I get the comments, like, people think I'm fooling the internet when they see the thumbnail of what they look like and then come and hear my voice because they don't know anything about the stream. It's like the dude
Not
who's like,
me.
"You
Not me making a
fucking
joke about having the
lied to
Persona
me," was
series.
one of my favorite fucking messages. Where
I love. Can I spoil something real quick?
was that?
We recorded the Persona episode when you were here, right? And we were
Yeah.
face camming it, and you were like, "Wow!" You were and one of the jokes you had where you were
Oh,
telling me like,
where you don't
"No,
look
you're not
anything like
attracted."
your character.
Yeah, yeah, and then I just like I edited like a slowly like a panda picture of Jin on your face, and it was like, okay, fucking call the kettle black, dude. What are we
Yeah,
doing here?
I'm glad that
Oh, that's
like
funny.
the way I've acted has helped people grasp what she's like. Because if I can't show off her moveset and how she fights and stuff like that, it's like I'm glad that people by accident are figuring out who she's supposed to be, just kind of incidentally because of
Yeah,
how I act on stream sometimes and how I
that's
talk
so
about her.
funny.
I call her a sassy bitch, and this model happens to do it
Be a sassy bitch,
really
yeah.
well to stare. It's like people have picked up on a lot of those traits. That was a great question. That was a really good one.
That was really good. I love that shit. Yeah, no, man, it's definitely I love the people who can act with their for their character, but there's always like I guess it doesn't feel as genuine sometimes. I feel like we come off as very very upfront with who we are like all
Yeah.
the time.
Well, that's what I
I
like
think
about
I
Jin
think
is
that adds a lot.
I think the best way I can put it is I like that I'm not Jin, but Jin reflects me. Like I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
that I
yeah.
am not the character, but Jin is mine, and you can tell. There's a lot of ways she reflects what I like, who I am. stuff like that. It's like I may not be pretending to be the same person, but that doesn't mean there's no association. Obviously, you could tell from outside of like the actual visuals, there's a lot of ways you could tell the relation to how Jin is my character, and that makes me
Yeah,
really really happy.
I agree. I wish I'm happy that people do see some of the foreigns in me sometimes, 'cause he is a little gremlin asshole too, so it's good.
Yeah, I talk about Jin violently punching people in the face and blowing shit up, and people are like, "Oh yeah, that's Reach."
Can I say what Ace just said? I also thought you were a girl the first time I met you.
I
I
think
don't
that
know.
happens with
This is a
most
profile
people.
picture.
Well, and you
Yeah.
know what used to be the bigger thing was I used to type in a very different way for I don't know why this was like a trend for a short while, but I typed very, very differently. So a lot of times
Mhm.
people wouldn't speak to me for a while because I would only message, and then we would,
Yeah.
for some reason or another, end up in a voice call together, and their whole worldview would change.
Were you hitting like the uwus and shit? Is that what you're
Nothing
hitting?
like that, but like I definitely was like I don't know how to put it. I'd have to go pull up my own messages, but like people were like I don't know. Everybody was always like it was much more effeminate and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I think it's
I
also
see.
because I don't really care how I present myself. I'll do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Neither do I. I'm the same
It's
fucking
like,
way,
yeah,
dude.
it's like, but it is funny to me, and like I am sorry that so many people get mixed up on it, but it's also like there's a reason I don't express the line a lot, nor do I care. Is it's like you'll people will quickly learn how I operate, and it's like, and it just doesn't really matter.
Yeah. You want a Cooper fact for your stream? You want a hot take for or like a hot fucking scoop on a
Hit us with
Cooper
it.
thing? I used to when I was a kid, I needed to make money, right? So I used to pick up dog dirt around the neighborhood, and my name I had made business cards that said Cooper the Pooper Scooper on them. Use that information as you will. But I was always a businessman. Always
I
showmanship.
love that you
Always.
could not resist despite the lack of relation to say.
Well, no. First, it's the
I
Cooper.
see, I see. I just thought we weren't
I
acknowledging things
saw it.
that
That
weren't
was the
questions,
first thing.
Cooper.
I don't know. I saw it. Well, that's a funny story for your thing. So take it. I guess.
Yes, thank you. We can add that to the list. Everybody call him that. If you watch this far into the episode, you now legally have to go at Twitter on Cooper with it right now. I hope whenever this comes out in like a week that you just get at least one or two ats.
Yeah. Just some people just fucking. Oh my god, I'd be so good.
We won't go too much longer. So generally, as a again a note for future episodes, because it is generally I'll try and keep these around like an hour 30, hour 45, because definitely like another problem with port priority was that I started to go too long without an Ed to cut me off and tell me to end the episode. But I am really glad that we've gotten to do this so far. So if people have
Oh
last
yeah.
minute questions for this, and as a reminder, when this goes up on YouTube, feel free to post any questions you have in the comment section. Go ahead and get them out now before we wrap out this segment. And
It is really funny.
as a
Yeah.
last note for the girl thing, I do think like I am really glad that people find out that I am like not Jin, and still hang around anyway. Because if that was really the only heavy like appeal, like that would be disappointing. But it's like I just like showing off my cool character and then hoping that people stay for my vibe. So
Oh
that makes
yeah.
me really happy that that works.
I think it's funny you said that someone to cut you off because I if it was me you doing this hosting this all the time I would not I would be we'd be talking for like hours.
Yeah.
We would be fucking going for hours. Oh oh my god. Wait. Uh we have some good questions. Oh my god,
Let's
we have a
start
few
with
left.
those who have inspired you, because I
Okay.
have
I can run through this quick, I
go.
think. So okay, let's start. Um AVGN. AVGN, Scott the Waz, Smosh was huge back in the day. That was like my fucking I want to be them. Red versus Blue and Rooster Teeth were huge. And JonTron. JonTron was a huge like old JonTron was a big inspiration for me. I just watched him so much, and I have. There's a lot of times where my jokes and my I'll kind of have it his look sometimes when I like then when he's kind of bigger now, and my mom like she watches him every once in a while, and she's like, "Wow, you kind of look like him and sound like him." Oh, this is where you get jokes from as a kid, so she knows. Like I've taken a lot from him. And then VTuber wise, I definitely Miss Piper again has been super cool to watch. But besides that, it's been like streamer wise, there's been really no one else. I just kind of do my own thing. I guess Keo or Butterfay, they're really cool. So they're the first VTuber I knew. So I took a lot from them. Hey, Sky. Yeah. But Scott Walls is huge, dude. That's influenced my most recent stuff a lot. Oh, Comfy Catboy has been sick. I snapped my fingers. I remembered it. That's who I learned to edit from, is watching him, because his edits are so good. And that's who I recommend to anyone trying to get into editing, is to watch, like, VTuber editing, is to watch his, and who he does them for. Probably all of them. There's a few other VTubers maybe. Lee, who did my model, and Star, they were really cool. A few. There's a good handful. I get a bunch of inspiration from a bunch of different corners of content, so that's kind of where I'm at, I guess.
Mine are a lot weirder because it was definitely like, in terms of like who inspired how I act now, it was definitely like the classic Vanoss crew was what really changed my humor. I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah,
of like
Manos, I watched them too.
realizing back then of like being like, I could probably just say like whatever I want, and it's like have more fun with it than doing all of the super official shit all the time. It was so nice to have somebody that was kind of breaking the mold at the time. Like I was a really big fan of that. I'm suddenly blanking on, oh, I mean Wyatt Baker, the voice
Yeah,
actor I mentioned.
they
Holy
interviewed.
shit.
Yeah,
Like that guy was such a big early influence for me, I think without him super knowing it, of like why I was a big fan of him. Because one of the things was like I definitely felt where it was like he was on so many big projects and not getting a lot of stuff his way, which was frustrating to me because I was like, dude is so naturally just funny. Like a
yeah,
lot, almost everything he says was just like, I loved how witty he was and like stuff like that. Like seeing again another person who just like goes with the flow was super great starting out as a smaller creator again, and like kind of having another person where it was like, wow, I can dig that vibe. I kind of want to recreate it because that's just how I've always been. Like I've always loved off the cuff improv, blah 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 blah
it's
type
fun,
deal.
dude.
It's
Yeah.
just like I love it when shit just comes naturally. Because also, and this is gonna be to go IRL. Can I count my stepdad?
Oh,
He's
does he make videos? Did he make
he no,
videos?
he
Or are you
didn't.
saying he's
But
pretty
like,
soon?
I want you guys to understand that as much as I am a sarcastic dickhead, like complete asshole that cares sometimes, sometimes I let you know it. Like he was like everything like that, but amplified by 100. So much of like the humor I've just stolen from him. If I ever get a roast on you that leaves you silent for 5 minutes, I promise you he would have come up with one
Good
that
for
would have
him.
left you for 20.
Nice.
It's like he like
Awesome.
I don't know. I'm really proud of where I've come in terms of like just pure wit and like comedic relief of because of how much I've just evolved that on the fly humor. It's kind of my whole
Yeah.
thing now. And any of the creators I watch, but I'm sure there's a bajillion names I'm forgetting. But those are like, well, and then I guess even like early Alpha Red was probably like my big Smash influence of like he just
Yeah.
had fun with the game at a time where I was getting tired of taking it seriously, and that helped me stretch into like the I'm just gonna do like whatever I kind of can because he was also
Oh
like
yeah.
his stuff was more scripted, but he was still pushing the boundaries of like the not giving a fuck, and
Hmm.
that was really appealing to me.
His content's still pretty good.
Yeah, I still I'm so glad he's like still doing like just what he makes him happy or like whatever he feels like he wants to do because I vibe with that so much. I mean I mean I guess I could say he's still influencing me. I don't even watch him like I used to, and I still respect the ever loving shit out of his vibe. Like
Yeah.
when I was watching him a couple of years ago and then even way back before, like that is definitely a vibe I still like of doing what I want with content and having fun with it because otherwise there's no point.
Hmm. That's the most important part of it.
Do we have to address? You know what? Yeah, who has the better trip? Obviously me.
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 It's me. It's so me. It's so me.
No, 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 no.
You
It's
okay?
too
Here.
overcomplicated and
All right.
silly. Switch back to
No,
your
no,
regular
no.
outfit. Go to it. Go
Okay,
to it
okay, yeah.
now. Switch to the
Okay. Here, you beat me in the regular outfit. That's fine. You kick my ass in regular outfit. But you don't got this, dog. I got that shit on.
I'll
There's
give the
no
jacket
way.
credit. The jacket is sick. I can't
There's
argue with
no
that.
way. You can't beat the fucking jacket combo and all that stuff. There's no
The
this
jacket is
base
fucking hype, but base design,
2.0
I take the
base
win.
design. You got me. That's fine because
I
your hoodie's
can't
still
compete
better
with
and
the
you made
new.
that
The
better.
A-Lab redesign is so
It's
badass.
so fucking good. It's so perfect. It's so
That's why I
sick.
didn't want to address it because I mean I do lose to the jacket,
Yeah,
but but other than that,
the jacket.
um. let's see, anything else that we have time for? We'll go ahead and we'll give it a second for any last of the questions, anything you guys can think of. But
Really
so
good
far,
question.
this has been really, really fun, and I do still want to let's talk at some point about maybe like the OBS, or like the early stream series and stuff like that.
Oh, I'd be so down to fucking do that with you. That'd be
That
fun as
type
fuck.
deal, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll force you on for another episode with me. But
Oh, we'll have to. There's no way you can only do one. Come on now.
oh, that is, you know what? That's a
That's a great question to end
fantastic
on.
last question. Yep.
Yep. Oh, fuck. You go first. I've been going first on all these. I gotta hear this. I gotta be
Favorite
pumped
thing
up for
about
every
the other
question.
person? No, if I'm gonna be nice to you, I'm gonna end with it. You go first.
All right. Let's think. Hmm. My favorite. There's a lot of things I admire about you, but I'm trying to really think of like if there's one that sticks out the most to me. Hmm. I guess it's when all these other people are so like in their least favorite thing about this person. All these people are so like kind of like again like how I feel like I'm very out of place in VTuber. I love that you're also just still always you. Like there's never a time where I've seen you ever be like so like switched up like as a person on stream or in Twitter or in a call or anything. Like you're always 100% reach, and I commend the hell out of you for that because like it would be so easy just to play up into like the Jin I'm a wolf girl awoo awoo thing, and just go not like you don't not like
I know what
what
you're.
you
I
do.
know exactly what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Like when we've talked about like the easy content on TikTok. You remember that fucking conversation?
Yeah.
So we never did that, and you've always stayed true to reach, which is awesome, and I really commend you for that.
I'm gonna have to repeat the speech I gave before. I may or may not have said some nice things before we got on
About
call.
me?
Before I knew you were gonna be late, you bitch.
Hey, nice things first, pal. Come on.
But if I do, I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I mean, you're my best friend, and you have been for
Aw.
almost since we met at this point. I mean, how quickly we got along is pretty crazy.
Ridiculous. Fucking
Especially
ridiculous.
considering, I mean, like, you have been my entry point into. I have felt very experienced with content creation for quite a while now. But, like, trying to restart again was so scary. And it was at a point where, like, I was doing really well with stream. But then I had to take that summer break that was absolutely
Yeah.
crushing to my otherwise, like, numbers had been fantastic. I was like, man, I might have just biffed it for the last time. It's like, and then I found we just randomly met. I was like, wow, there's
Yeah.
a whole new avenue of content creation I have never explored or even engaged with. All of that shit was new to me. That is so rare to find something with that where it's like I truly had no experience with this scene. It's like the only reason I think I was able to do it was because I had a contact that made sense to me. Where it was like we just vibed so well. Like, I mean, who else in this fucking world would I have made the ITC with on our first
Yeah.
stream or
So,
second stream
so on
together?
the cuff.
Yeah,
So
like
off the cuff too.
at like fucking 2 in the morning for me too. It's like I only
I'm
did that because it was somebody that I could feel that comfortable with that early on while I was still out of my element and I didn't really know what to do with it. Like I was kind of trying to find. It's always been a hard line for me to find between how I act like online and in person, and I think through VTubing specifically I finally found that balance, and I really just have you to thank for it because it became so much more natural to just be me, both the me who I am when I'm not on camera and who I am when I decide to fuck around and play games. Yeah, I don't know what it is about VTubing specifically that finally bridged the gap and made it all way more natural so I don't feel like two different people. But I think there's definitely a cohesion now, and it really is just because of the vibes we've had together.
Yeah, it really is. So like not to take too much longer, but I had like most of the times when I did content, like especially going back towards like high school and like middle school, I always had like a running mate or someone else doing it with me. So doing VTubing for the first like 5 months was super fucking lonely. Even now it gets a little kind of lonely because I know everyone has these groups and shit. But it was like obviously I was very not good at what I was doing until I met you and started fucking kicking up. Even if it was a fluke of the Twitter just going down for a week or a few days and me being pissed off and going on a fucking rampage of being good at content or whatever the fuck, right? Regardless, it was right after it was the day or it was a few days after we did our first stream and started talking and hanging out. And like that made such a difference It really did change the trajectory of what I was doing because I don't think I would even be close. I'd maybe be cracking 500 now if it wasn't for us meeting and doing what we did together. So it really is it's fucking special, and I'm very happy to have you be here to do that with me. I'm so happy we fucking got to meet each other and all that stuff. That was
That
awesome.
was
So
amazing. I mean, there's a
yeah,
big, 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 big reason. I am not great at a lot of the emotional stuff, but like it is no secret that I was really adamant to push this through today, specifically because, I mean, I know you're
yeah,
not leaving. Like I'll still be able to talk to you and stuff, but it does feel like a pretty monumental deal where it's like, it almost feels like I'm on my own from here in a certain way, where it's like you're kind of one of the people I connect with the best, and it is very safe to say that even if I had somehow gotten into VTubing and everything else had gone the same except meeting you, even counting stuff that happened after, I can already think of one instance where I probably would have just left again. And I
it would
didn't
have been
because I had somebody to talk through things with where it was like
yeah,
there was a reason to stick around. And
hell yeah.
that's why I came back in January. And I was happy to, just get straight back into the groove because, shit doesn't stop. It was nice to have somebody to go along with because we've been pushing forward together, I mean, ever since that stream, very
Yeah,
consistently. And that's felt super, super nice to have somebody in in arms with me in this race. So
it's been it's
genuinely
been a
thank you, dude.
it's been a very long journey, and I'm so proud of where you've came from, starting from the $5 PNG to getting your first model to
Hell
being
yeah.
where it is now. Like I mean it when I say like you've gotten very, very, very good and comfortable where you are. And I'm very happy to see that. Like it's so nice. You bring such a unique thing to what we do as VTubers. With the fucking sea of people we have who join this hobby every day. I don't think there's another W2 Reach in the entire pile, which really does say something to who you are and what you bring to everyone and your community. Like fucking dude, you got so many people. I've seen you go from averaging like 3 or 4 people to now you have 15 on just us talking. Like that's so special. And I really hope that like I know while I'm gone you'll be doing just as good. I hope when I come back you're fucking 20, 25, 30, whatever the fuck it is. You're doing your thing.
Well,
And I'm just
wait.
I'm excited to see where you are right now because you're just getting started. So I'm very happy that we got to meet, and it's even if it was just a chance encounter, maybe one day we go through the whole timeline of how we even got to that point.
I would be
It's
super down to do that because
almost got me in a tear or two, but it's it was it's very sweet to know you're here and you mean that shit, and I'm happy to have you here.
well, and for everything you said, that's the exact same way I feel. Because even for Twitch, I think there's no other Coopsworth. But I know for me specifically, in my vibes, there's no other Coop currently of somebody I can just call up and fuck around with, or greet with
Yeah.
"Hey fella" while walking to
Hey,
7-Eleven. Who
hey,
they,
hey, fella.
where I'm just that naturally comfortable. Where it's like that
Yeah.
is why I will be the place you have now is the place you'll have when you'll come back. No matter
Hell yeah,
what
dude.
happens, I will support you all the way, forever and always, because you have been a fantastic friend to me, and I'm happy to return the favor whenever I can try to. And I hope
Same
you
fucking
do
with
the
you.
absolute fucking best and knock it out of the park with your school shit. And when you get back, we
I'm
can
hoping.
just vibe together and do a bunch of goofy, stupid shit again like we always do.
Well, you know I'll at least be back by that fucking. I don't know if I'll be back. I'll be back for that June 26th. We'll be doing a fucking some kind of anniversary stream for that. It'll have to
Hell
happen.
yeah.
So, fuck yeah. But yeah, man, it's good shit.
Well, that's enough of being fucking nice to each other. Fuck it. But for everybody who watched either in the live or if you did make it through the video to this point, I do want to also thank you all as well. Everybody knows at this point with how much I've said it, I mean, through the course of just this stream, of this series is going to mean a lot to me going forward. I will do my best to make sure this stays a consistent thing because I miss doing this and I really want to bring it back. Specifically, this first episode is obviously a little more special, but the fact that I think I can just do this shit now without needing a gimmick or anything like that, and I can put it up there and just have fun, we will be recording more of these in the future. It's fun for
Hell
me.
yeah.
I enjoy seeing you guys engage with it. I can't wait to put it out there. And frankly, like I would just say, look forward to the next episode. I imagine I am a little busy right now, but within the next couple weeks, I already have a couple guests to invite, and we will definitely be running another. And for anybody who does watch these on YouTube, I encourage you guys to check that there and then come to the stream and vice versa. If you're watching the stream, once that goes up, I highly recommend you go there. before we wrap it out, Cooper, do you want to go ahead and advertise yourself on the platforms you can be found on?
You can find me on pretty much every platform, just at Coopsworth. I don't know when this is going up, but if it in the month of April sometime, I will be posting a fuck ton of stuff on YouTube. So it'll be, even if I'm gone from Twitch for a while, there will be a ton of Cooper content going out, and some with reach. So go take a look for that.
Yeah, this should be up within the week of the recording, but we'll see for sure. But I'm going to try my best to get it there so that way it does line up with your content. For me, as always, I will be around doing stream bullshit and shenanigans this time through the summer. If you want to make it into future episodes, highly, 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 highly recommend you watch out for specifically the announced streams because they will be announced much further in advance going forward. And you guys can actually make it for like, ask these questions live, or like I said, if you want to just throw it down in the comment section of whatever video it's posted on, can always bring it into a future interview. And if you have guest suggestions, feel free to throw those out there too. That one will apply a little bit more to the YouTube side, but my Twitter and Discord are always open, so if you ever want to hop into the Discord and give some suggestions there, feel free. I love meeting new people, and I would love to talk to all kinds of new faces. For now, I think that's going to be where we go ahead and wrap up. For people in stream, we will return in just a couple minutes. For the video, thank you for making it this far if you did, or even if you just skimmed to this point. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and look forward to the next episode. Peace.
Bye.